Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watch were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Come on, boy. Ring with the harmony of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listing sky. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Take it out.
I am Patricia Thomas, and I'm proud to serve as Director of Athletics here at the University of the District of Columbia. I want to welcome all of you, and thank you so much for being here today. I want to first recognize the E.B. Henderson family. If the family members could please stand and be recognized. Thank you so much for being with us. There are too many people to thank for what has occurred on this afternoon, and I'm just extremely grateful to each and every one who's present today, and those who even were not able to be with us. As I've said before, our current student athletes are standing on the shoulders of the wonderful human being whom we celebrate today. Dr. Henderson literally risked his life to achieve what he was able to accomplish when he returned to Washington, D.C., and then even moved on to Virginia. Words cannot describe what that man accomplished and what he has done for all of us. And I'm just really extremely proud of this day and of this moment. And again, I can't thank each and every one of you enough for being here and being a part of this marvelous celebration. This afternoon, you're going to hear from a number of individuals who will speak about Dr. Henderson and what he means to all of us. But at this time, I'm going to invite the president of the university, Ronald Mason Jr., to come forward to speak, followed by the chair of our board of trustees, Christopher Bell, and then the relentless board of trustee member, Barrington Scott.
All right.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Sorry about the sun, but it's prophetic that it's been cloudy all week and the skies cleared for this occasion. I think that's a beautiful thing, and I want to thank you all for coming today. I have other thanks that I'd like to give out this morning. First, the E.B. Henderson family for preserving the memory of this great man, but also for helping the NBA understand how important he is to the league by having him enshrined in the NBA Hall of Fame. Second, the UDC Board of Trustees for giving the green light for us to be able to do this work. I don't know if you all want to stand, but it can't hurt for people to see your faces. While you're doing it. Thank you. Also to the alumni trustees, especially Barrington Scott and Antoinette White Richardson for doing the research and pushing the process to make this day possible. And then finally to Ted Leonsis, the Leonsis family and Monumental Sports for giving us the resources we needed to make it happen. Now, I'm going to take just a minute to tell you why this is an important day. Think a little bit about E.B. Henderson. Educator, scholar, author, athlete, coach, referee, organizer, civil rights activist. In a normal world, this man could have been anything. He could have been president of the United States. He could have been a Fortune 500 CEO, but he got kicked out of the YMCA for being black. But like most black leaders, that didn't stop him. He went on to do great things to help his people, but also to plant the seeds for what became the modern National Basketball Association. But there's more to the story, because like most black leaders, he wasn't just fighting to help his people. He was actually fighting to help make the idea that we call America, this vision, this unrealized vision of a land of many lands and a people of many peoples where all have inalienable rights and are created equal. He was fighting to make that idea a reality. And so the unveiling of this statue today actually symbolizes something. Because University of the District of Columbia is the only public institution in the nation's capital. It was founded on the 200th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence. It is the only exclusively urban land-grant university in America. And it is a historically black college and university. So by design and by circumstance, it is the university for the people, for democracy, and for the proposition that everyone is created equal. And so our job at this university is to continue to fight for the vision, like E.B. Henderson, to continue to fight for the vision and the idea that we call America until that vision is achieved. And so, as my last, what I think will be my last official act as president of the public institution of higher learning in and for the nation's capital, the University of the District of Columbia, I humbly accept the baton from E.B. Henderson and pledge that we will do our best to persevere in the fight for justice with the strength, wisdom, and grace of the man that we gather here to celebrate and honor, Edwin Bancroft Henderson.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Christopher Bell, and I'm the chair of the Board of Trustees, the very proud chair of the Board of Trustees for the University of the District of Columbia. And I want to welcome, can you not hear me? Yeah, is that better? I could try to sing, but that wouldn't be so good. Okay. I just wanted to say that I wanted to welcome the Henderson family, our distinguished guests and trustees here to this event today. You know, as a Board of Trustees, this is one of the easier things to vote to approve. This was a unanimous decision to honor Dr. E.B. Henderson, and what a legacy that this man has left, not only for our students, but for our faculty and administration, in terms of everything that he has done to help promote civil rights and to promote athletic fitness and awareness in the nation's capital. You know, E.B. Henderson was born at a time when rules and regulations and just society was set against him. Sorry, is that better? Yes. Okay. So E.B. Henderson was born at a time when rules and regulations didn't serve him as a black man, but he didn't let that stop him. He went beyond the contemporary restraints that were imposed against him to rise above, and he was able to educate himself at this university and leave a lasting impact that would help future generations to come in terms of their athletic fitness and awareness. And so for that, we owe an eternal gratitude to E.B. Henderson. I think we know of his accomplishments. He led the effort to desegregate athletic competition in the 1940s by protesting at the U-Line Arena. He was very engaged in civil rights in the area. We heard from the NAACP president from Fairfax County speaking to his commitment there to civil rights, and he's acknowledged as a grandfather of black basketball. As this statue is unveiled, I hope that you're inspired to continue to fight for access and opportunity for present and future generations. Giving thanks is a dangerous thing, but I do want to take the time to give thanks to Trustee Barrington Scott for his unending work in terms of promoting this cause. Trustee Antoinette White Richardson, his sidekick, his co-leader, who helped to make this project a success. I want to thank you both for all the efforts that you've done. This has been a tremendous undertaking over the past year plus, and we're really appreciative at the university for what you have done. I also want to thank Rodney Trapp and the UDC Foundation for their support and everything they've done to raise funding and awareness for this project. And I want to give a special thanks to Brian Hanlon, the sculptor, who made this statue a reality. There you are, Brian. It's important for us to remember the leadership of the past as we forge our way into the future. And I hope that this statue serves as a reminder of Dr. Henderson's perseverance, dedication, courage, and strength to be a catalyst for positive change and collective remembrance for us all. Thank you for celebrating with us today, and enjoy the remainder of the ceremony. Well, the staff will hand it to you.
Well, everybody, if you haven't heard yet, the doctor is in town. This has been an outstanding project. Started about, Ed, how many years ago between me and you? About 15 years ago?
I think it was 13.
Yeah, about 13 years ago, I met Ed Henderson. Hello? Okay. I met Ed Henderson about 13 years ago. This is way before I'd even thought about being a trustee here at the university. I want to thank the alumni for having the tenacity to put me on this board and be able to vote me in a couple of times. And so we, with the support of the university president, the board of trustees and all, they did on November the 10th, 2020, make the commitment to first name our first building on campus after Dr. Edwin Bancroft Henderson, but then again to move forward a year later and make the commitment to work on the statue project. David Franklin, many others, Dr. Beckett, many others who've been there behind the scenes pushing us to continue to work hard for this. Keith Irby, a couple others, Pennington Green, a few others, Melvin Witten, all who've been there. Thank you, our sculptor artist, where'd he go? Brian. Oh, Thank you, Brian, for the many dinners we sat down and talked about Dr. Henderson's life and what it meant to do something like this on this campus. For most of you, some of you may know, but most of you may not know that UDC is the second oldest HBCU, established in 1851, well before slavery ended. And so this is a fantastic moment in time and in history that we could do this for our university. Others will now come to this university to see or view Dr. Henderson, to have Dr. Henderson put these kind of vision in our minds, to now have Amadou Gallo, who's now the new father of basketball in Africa. Let's give him a big hand. Dr. Henderson is giving you the blueprint, brother, and we want you to continue as UDC alums are all around the world, you know. And we just want to thank the Omegas. Even though I'm a Kappa man, I did it for you guys. I want to thank the Omegas for it was about the vision. It wasn't about the fraternity, it was about the vision. Dr. Henderson paid a good way for the professors here at the university to continue to educate our students about Dr. Henderson, about the importance of education, and what it's about to be a Firebird. And so I want to thank you all for being here, those who contributed. It hasn't stopped. You can still contribute before you leave here. We'll take every dollar because it goes towards educating these kids, okay? It's not about us. And lastly, I'd just like to say, you know, with the regular persons, through us, you know, something could be accomplished. But through Christ, all things are possible. And I just want to say thank you so much. God bless you.
I'm pleased now to introduce our next speaker, who graduated cum laude from the University of the District of Columbia. He was inducted into our Athletics Hall of Fame in 2019. He is currently the president of Basketball Africa League, and prior to that, he was the vice president and managing director of NBA Africa. In 1988, he founded an elite training and educational center in Senegal, SEED, where those young men and women move on to attend universities throughout the world. And so I'm happy to introduce and bring forward Amadou Gallo.
Thank you, Patricia. I am incredibly honored to be standing here in front of you. When I was in 2019, as Patricia mentioned, I had the great privilege and honor to be inducted in the UDC Athletic Hall of Fame. Little did I have any idea that this giant of a legend that we are here celebrating was also not only in the Hall of Fame, but did the work he did. I think I was talking to my sister and colleague here, Krista Chin, who's a senior executive at the National Basketball Players Association, about this whole story, that is it possible that, really, to be quite frank, a few months ago, I had no idea. So we are committed to making sure that that changes. Because when I listened to President Mason and Patricia Barrington, everybody here who spoke before me, Choo, the idea of using sport as a tool, as a conduit to empower, to inspire youth, is what I have over the years come to realize that, whether it was a calling or something that we could definitely use in Africa to make sure we change the narrative, to make sure we use our assets. Biggest asset on the continent is our population and our youth, which make up more than 70% of this population. We endeavor to find ways to build confidence in these young people, make sure they focus on education, make sure they feel a sense of responsibility to build their community. And sports and basketball was the tool, and it all started right here for me. So this is why, somebody asked me earlier, what of my proudest moments in what I've achieved. I said that I honestly haven't thought about it, and it is still an ongoing journey. We're building. We continue to do what we feel is possible, because we always felt that anything was possible. We never let any challenges or barriers in front of us, be a gate to stop it. When I met Kevin Lineberger here, who was on the Peace Corps, who came back and talked to George Leftwich, told him he met this young African kid who was 6'8" and could jump out of the building. And the coach sent me a full scholarship letter without ever seeing me play. So it's just go figure. But then, whatever is happening today, I owe it to this university. So to be standing here, and to the family, thank you. We were inspired, and when the saying goes, we all stand in the shoulders of giants. This is the exact manifestation of that. Without knowing it, I was inspired to, follow in those footsteps. Going back to Senegal, what I saw the game do for me as an individual, I endeavored to replicate for as many young people as possible. From the DC area, you would remember young people like Yaya Ja, Georgetown, they were all across America. But at some point, we felt that instead of bringing one individual or two a year, we wanted to take the model back. That's what we did. The whole idea of the student athletes, that's why SEED was created. Sports for education and economic development, and that's the pilot. That's where everything came from. I moved back after 12 years working for the Dallas Mavericks to Johannesburg to launch NBA Africa. 10 years later, we have a professional basketball league that is Pan-African. We have 12 teams from 12 different countries. And the idea is now we took the discourse from using sport as a tool for social good, empowering young people, promoting education, to now building an industry around basketball that is going to create jobs. We are going to build value in our incredible talent on the continent, encouraging government and private sector to build world-class infrastructure. So we launched this league 3 years ago. The Basketball Africa League is going to be one of the best professional basketball leagues in the world outside of North America. So inviting you all to come and experience our activities. We play in different countries, in Senegal, in Cairo, in Kigali, and other places. And the idea is really to encourage the movement of people, of goods and services in Africa, to promote tourism, to contribute to GDPs of our countries, using some of our biggest assets. Thank you very much. Again, I cannot stress enough that it all started right here. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Is it working?
It's working now.
Okay, moving forward, folks. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right, moving forward, our next speaker is Hunter Lockman, who is representing Monumental Sports, followed by the grandson of the man we are honoring today, E.B. Henderson II, and then the artist extraordinaire, Brian Hanlon, who, Coach Lang, by the way, he ran a 4:13 mile in college, you guys, so not bad. And then our vice president for the foundation, Rodney Trapp, will close out the afternoon for us. Again, thank you all for being with us today.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am proud to be here representing Monumental Sports and the Washington Wizards. Ted Leonsis, the owner of Monumental Sports, John Thompson III, they wanted to be here. They are across town with our newest draft pick at another press conference, so I know they send their best. So let me take it a step back. I'm a marketer, and my job is to market basketball and the Washington Wizards. So how do you do that? You do research. You look at history. And a few years ago, 3 years ago, I was doing some research, and I came across the name E.B. Henderson and the 12th Streeters and the Reformer Building. And I was blown away by this guy, what he did on and off the court, and nobody had heard of him. And, kind of brought it up at work and was thinking about it. And then about 2 weeks later, I'm walking through my living room, and I heard this voice talking about E.B. Henderson on Channel 4, and I look up, and there's Edwin, talking about his grandfather. And to me, that was a sign that we're going to take the next step. I reached out to Edwin. We got together, probably talked that next week. And I'm proud to say part of our job is the storytelling of EB. And we've worked together now for 2 years. We've done a couple of things on the Wizard side. We created a essay contest with the Washington Post. EB was a prolific writer, so it's honoring his writing. The first year, I think we had 40 essays. Last year, we had over 500. And we're going to do that every year. We developed and created a team award for the Washington Wizards, the E.B. Henderson Award, given to the player who does the most in their community. 2 years ago, Anthony Gill, who is one of the nicest basketball and or people you will ever meet, was our inaugural winner last year. Daniel Gafford, another great character person. Our job is to continue to do the storytelling. When I brought it to Ted, and I told this story, Ted is very civic-oriented, very DC-oriented. He said, what can I do? He was the first one to contribute to the fund and to get it going. Matter of fact, Ted read the Washington Post article earlier in the week and saw that there was a $20,000 deficit to hit the goal of 300. I'm honored to say that Ted told me to finish the goal right now, give them $20,000. Again, it's been terrific to just have the buy-in, and we're gonna continue to tell the story. 2 quick congratulations. One to Edwin. I know this is a labor of love. He's persistent, he's passionate, and he got it done. And then to this community, which I've grown to know and love, congrats UDC. Statues don't come easy in this industry. It means you're just an unbelievable person. So this is a terrific day. Congrats.
Thank you, everybody. I think first of all, I need to thank God because, He opened up the skies today and shined on this, and I've been working with this effort for probably the better part of 25 years. And I have a lot of people to thank. I'd be up there all day thanking people. But first and foremost, I'd like to thank my wife, Nikki Graves Henderson, and E.B. Henderson's family. Can I get the family to stand, please? Yeah. And, E.B. Henderson, when he's learned the game of basketball, he didn't learn it just for himself. He learned it to spread to the generation after him and the generation after that. And he wanted to lay a foundation for spreading the game of basketball to African American youth. He did that because when he learned the game at Harvard, he recognized that it was uniquely adapted to people of the African American race. And if you look at the court today, you'll know that that's true. And I want to thank the University District of Columbia. I met Barrington Scott 13 years ago when my wife and I did the first conference on the legacy and emergence of black basketball in association with the Smithsonian and with the National YMCA. We held it at the 12th Street YMCA, or should I say the no, it's the Thurgood Marshall Center. I think you were on the board there then. You were on the board there then. And, look, it's come to this today, thanks to Barrington and the University District of Columbia. And even though, and I have to thank, I also met 10 years ago, Brian Hamlin, when we had the honor of, well, E.B. Henderson was honored, should I say, and being inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame. It didn't just happen. The first year, I think it was 2005, we wrote a 138-page document, sent it up there to Springfield, and nothing happened. And my wife, she asked the curator, how come nothing happened? She said, nobody knows who he is. And so we had the insight to not send another 138-page document, but rather a 7-minute video. And the year after that, we got footage from the Today Show, where Brian Gumble was interviewing Arthur Ashe. He had just finished his book, Hard Road to Glory. And Brian Gumble asked Arthur Ashe, well, why did you choose this topic? Surely this has been done before. And Arthur Ashe said, yes, the first one to do it was Edwin Henderson, the first publicly appointed physical education teacher in the colored schools of Washington, D.C. We put that in the video, and then we sent that up there. It still took 8 years, but it happened. And that's where I met Brian 10 years ago. And Brian, we've been talking back and forth for years now. When UDC came on board, Brian bent over backwards to make this happen. So I really want to owe him a great debt of gratitude for that. And I am just so grateful that this is happening now. And I have a book coming out in February, The Grandfather of Black Basketball, The Life and Times of Edwin Bancroft Henderson. And so, stay tuned, we're not done yet. And so, I want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. We're going to see him next. Okay. And I'm going to turn it over now. Thank you. Brian Hammond.
I believe we're standing here. This is pretty cool. Yeah, we met in Springfield, Mass. At the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame for E.B. Henderson's induction ceremony, which I was completely floored by. Didn't know who he was, and as a sculptor there, I made it a point to learn more about him, and then I was all in. On my drive down from New Jersey here, I was thinking what a photograph it would be of Dr. Naismith speaking to E.B. Henderson. I don't know if it ever happened or if someone had a camera, but they're both academics. They must have met in their travels. You know, they were both promoting this game with such a passion. That would be worth a few bucks. That'd be a cool photo to have. I said up the street I did a statue of Harry Tubman at the CIA complex. So not that we're able to walk in there, the public, but there's Nathan Hale and Harry Tubman now as the two pillars to walk in the headquarters. Yeah. I said in lieu of payment, I'd like a picture of her in one of the tents speaking to Grant about how to win the war, because that was her function. She was an amazing spot. And those are the things I love about these statues. I get to learn the backstories of these both spiritually and intellectually fit people. And we do vent our subjects. This man is profound in both areas. And I think it takes great character to do what he was able to do. Just to give the statue a little context, I sculpted him as a young man before he was famous, because I do believe we, as you said, we need to remember where we came from, and I love that moment. I did the same thing for Count Basie, which I'm unveiling in 2 weeks in Red Bank. I sculpted him as a young musician, because he's always depicted in photographs of that accomplished old band leader. And he didn't start that way. He was playing little clubs, and he was, earning his stripes, playing wherever he could play. So it's a neat moment, I think, in his life where he has the passion, he has the vision, and we know what happened. It's amazing. Another context, I think, as a viewer, for you to understand, I did a statue of Coach John Thompson up at Georgetown, one of the most remarkable basketball coaches I've ever met in my life. And here, yes. Him and Tarkanian one-on-one were two of the most interesting basketball guys I've ever met. I'm finishing up a statue of Dominique Dawes for Silver Spring, a remarkable human being, if you haven't read about her, incredible. Up the street in Alexandria, I did one of Earl Lloyd, who is, thank you, who is the Jackie Robinson of basketball, although he didn't sign the first contract, he stepped on the court first. I think that was Chuck Cooper and also Sweetwater Clifton, who was signed by Joe Lapchick at St. John's, became the Knicks coach, who I sculpted at St. John's. So the reason I'm bringing these up is that I'm doing the best I can to create these historical markers that are important, and I will continue to. We're in the midst of 15 statues right now, and I can't speak about all of them, but they are all important pieces that are educating and inspiring the public as to our history. History maybe that's not told in some of our books. So, Barrington, 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 thank you, thank you, thank you. And Ed, unbelievable that we got, this is incredible. We're standing here after standing in Springfield and saying, we're going to do this. I'd like to thank the school for shepherding me along and helping. We have great staff. These guys are awesome. They're first class. They're pros. And it's an honor to be here in D.C. today. This is big for me. So thank you, everyone. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Brian. A recurring theme, Rodney Trapp, Vice President for Advancement. Stories. Your stories. I want to thank the Henderson family for allowing us to amplify E.B. Henderson's story. That is now our story. Our stories are important. Images are important. And so, as we stand here and are about to see the revealing of the statue, I want to talk just a little bit about the vision for the future. Part of the scholarship, part of the memorial that we have is establishment of a fund. And the fund's proceeds will allow us to allow students to come into our sports camps for free. It will also allow us to pay for stipends for social justice internship program. It'll allow us to partner with one of our newest partners, Seed Company. And so with Amadou Fall and have an exchange program in Africa. It's going to allow us to maybe do some improvements to our facilities here. But I think back to learning about E.B. Henderson and his story, and he didn't do it by himself. Someone helped him along. If I recall, when he was inspired to go to Howard, he didn't really have any funds to get up there. He didn't know how he was going to get up there. He had that desire, the passion, but he didn't have the funding. And so someone helped him. Anita J. Turner encouraged him, and she helped him get there. And so that's what it's all about. Today, we have some envelopes here. If you want to make a contribution, we have some cards. Where are my card holders? Wave your hands. Am I seeing you? So, I'm not seeing my card holders, but they're behind me. Okay. So, you can make a donation to the Edwin Bancroft Henderson Memorial Fund. We have envelopes. I'm an old school person. I like to write checks. But today, a lot of folks like to take a picture on their camera, so we got the QR code. And again, thank you everyone for being here. Thank you for helping us honor this icon. He's our hero now. And before we do the official unveiling, I want to ask the audience if you can remain seated as the folks on the dais line up to take the photograph, and allow the photographers room to take the photographs, and then you can come up afterwards. Thank you.
Let's do it.
1, 2, 3.
Woo!